Good morning, Bear Nation. As he looks to the chat, awaiting a 5x5 signals check. Thank you, Buckshot Canuck. For those that are unaware, we've been kicked off of YouTube so many times mid-brief that I now wait to make sure that the Bear Nation can actually see me and hear me before I start saying words, rather than having to potentially pivot to an alternate platform, because you may not know this, but YouTube is owned by Google, and Google's owned by Alphabet, and Alphabet was seeded with CIA money, and they don't like it when you talk trash about them. Not that it stops us from doing it, we just occasionally get kicked off line.
Even if Monica begs.
That's right. Even if Monica begs, please don't say anything controversial today. I'm like, hey, listen, I am what I am. Yeah. Am I breathing today? Probably going to be a little controversial. It's okay. Good morning to everybody in the chat. I appreciate y'all very much. Those of y'all who are subscribed, those of y'all who are lurking in the shadows, the 40% of y'all who watch the show but aren't subscribed, I don't even know what to do with you. I don't even know. You know what? Don't subscribe. Don't ring the little bell icon, since clearly you want to do the opposite of what I tell you to do. Don't you dare subscribe. Don't you dare ring the little bell icon. Do not leave a thumbs up, and do not comment for the algorithmic robots. Those of y'all who are subscribed, good morning, Bear Nation. I appreciate y'all. You know what to do. Share the show with somebody you love. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment to combat the YouTube algorithmic robots as we dive into the brief, which is, of course, brought to you, as always, by what? Say it with me. RefugeMedical.com. That's right. And who's the chief shill? You are, Bear. Why? Because you started it in your barn 4 years ago by yourself. That's right. Exactly. I'm allowed to be the chief shill. I'm the guy that goes to prison if we mess up on the taxes. So I get to chill. I get to shill whenever the hell I feel like it. You know what I mean? Good morning, Sonia Cromwell. Everybody else in the chat. Let's do El Brifo. Sound good? Sí, Bear. Es muchos buenos. Roger that. Bear Independent Brief. 27 September 23. The Philippines, you know those guys over there, LBGs? The Philippines has cut China's floating 980-foot barrier in the South China Sea. China installed the barrier in a hotly contested area specifically to prevent Philippine boats from fishing in the area, and the Filipino Coast Guard has said that the barrier was both a hazard and a violation of international law. Agreed. Tommy Guptill said El Bluo. That is correct. Way to go, Tommy. It's definitely not Azul. It's El Bluo. You are correct. This has nothing to do with anything, but, you know, we're here now. This is, if you are new here, you're probably like, what the hell am I watching? It's not my fault you make poor life choices, all right? I can't help you there. A spokesperson for the Coast Guard, Commodore J. Terriella, said, quote, "We have shown the world the Filipino people will not back down, and we're still going to consistently carry out whatever is necessary for us to maintain our presence," end quote. He also warned that Beijing might, quote, "still return the floating barrier once again. They might still do shadowing and dangerous maneuvers once again," end quote. Unsurprisingly, China has accused the Philippines of intruding, saying that the nation was advised, quote, "not to provoke and cause trouble," end quote. You know, and it's interesting because the historically United States-friendly Philippines has been not antagonistic to us, but we'll just say they've been shopping around for a new international girlfriend. And potential hottie on the list was China, which made their longtime friend with benefits, the United States, a little we were butthurt. You know, how could you do that to us? We've been friends for a long time, and 80-something years, and we train your people, you allow us to have bases there, we pay you money, you look the other way when we do shenanigans. I thought we had a good thing going. And they're like, yeah, but we're just exploring options. You never put a ring on it. So, after 80 years, I thought maybe you could commit or something. And so they were shopping around for a new friend with benefits. one of which might have been China. But it's interesting that now they're like, also, we might have blown up China's barrier in the South China Sea. So, but you know, you got to keep people in line. If you, what you allow, they will embrace, right? Like if you don't put your foot down, they'll walk all over you. Back in 2016, the International Court of Justice ruled from The Hague that China had no legal basis to claim historic rights to most of the South China Sea. Of course, China has continued to simply ignore this ruling as it continues to assert dominance of the maritime territory that it desires. So, nice ruling, Hague, don't care. Meanwhile, the European Union is struggling to keep peace with China as trade imbalances and geopolitical issues continue. The EU ambassador said of the $421 billion trade deficit with the Asian country, quote, the EU, or European Union, welcomes competition. However, competition must be fair, and we will be more assertive in tackling unfairness, end quote. Also, the EU said everybody gets participation trophies, and we're not keeping track anymore. The EU is like, have you ever seen one of those 6-year-old soccer games, you know, where nobody knows which direction to kick the ball, and there's at least 3 kids standing on the sidelines with their fingers in their nose, and 2 of them are running the wrong direction the entire game, and the referee's just standing there just kind of looking around like, I hate my life. Why did I sign up for this? Yeah, that's what the EU reminds me of. So we'll play the game as long as the rules are fair. First of all, why anybody thinks they're going to dictate to China what fair and unfair is retarded. Second, maybe the reason that they're having issues with air quote fairness, the unfairness is due to the political bullshit ideologies of the European Union. Like, I don't know, let's shut down all of our carbon-based energy production so that we can keep the planet from overheating. When China produces more CO2 with their emissions than every other country on the face of the earth combined. Maybe. Or maybe we'll just pay people to stay home. I think it was in one of the Scandinavian countries. I don't remember if it was Denmark or Sweden or Norge, but one of the countries up there. A polling of young people, 91% of young people said that they would rather stay home than get jobs because the government paid them more to stay home than if they went to get jobs. Unlike China, that's like, you know what? We'll make whatever we want, whenever we want to, with slave labor. Here's your cup of rice for the day. Congratulations. I'm obviously not condoning slave labor, but my point is, maybe the reason the European Union is having a hard time being competitive and is dealing with all this quote unfairness is because they've hamstrung themselves with their bullshit political ideologies. Maybe. China's politicization of its trade policies has left many businesses abroad in a difficult position. While Beijing seeks to protect national security interests with vague, sweeping legislation, nearly 2/3 of European businesses report plunging revenues as they struggle to understand the compliance rules. We don't know why our economy is dying, but also here's another telephone book full of rules you must keep. Almost like an 87,000-page US tax code or something. Don't worry, it'll all be fine. The elites have our best interests at heart. And you no longer are allowed to have an internal combustion engine because the earth is heating up. And there's 150 parts per million of CO2 in the atmosphere, the bare minimum required for plants to grow, by the way, because trust the science. But I need to fly my private jet all around the world so I can go out there and talk about how terrible you are because your Toyota Tercel is emitting CO2 as you drive to your wage slave job every day, so that you can deal with actualized inflation of roughly 23%. And my grandparents definitely didn't buy a home for $4,000 after World War II. that literally was sold, I don't know, 5 years ago? No, 10 years ago for $480,000. Yeah. Nothing to see here. Shut your mouth, peasant. The elites have got it under control. The United States has just issued new trade curbs for 11 Chinese companies, among others, to protect its own national security interests. The companies were involved in supplying the Russian war effort in Ukraine. Interesting. You mean that China and Russia are in collusion against the United States? That would never happen. They would never do that. The Russians were definitely not supplying TAC Air and Overwatch and CNC to the Pathet Lao and the North Vietnamese army during the Vietnam War, to say nothing of arms and armaments. That never happened, not even a little bit. Let's see. In response, the Chinese Commerce Ministry issued a statement saying, quote, "The United States abuses unilateral sanctions and long-arm jurisdiction in undermining international trade order and rules, hindering normal international economic and trade exchanges, and harming the legitimate rights of interests of Chinese companies and individuals. China will take necessary measures to resolutely safeguard its legitimate rights and interests." Still, it's not all bad news. Just this Tuesday, Chin has announced that it will hold a summit with South Korea and Japan, quote, "as soon as possible to continue to promote stable restarting of cooperation." It has been 4 years since the last summit of this sort has taken place. South Korea's Foreign Minister Park Jin said that such cooperation, quote, "plays a significant role not only in Northeast Asia, but also in the peace, stability, and prosperity of the world," end quote. Maybe South Korea and Japan will save us. Maybe. They're not puppet states of the United States, but they're not puppet states of the United States. We shall see, won't we? Isn't that right, Tammy Gabrielson? I don't know. Ontario Preparedness and Bushcraft. What's up, man? OPB? It's been a while. What's going on? Also, I saw Risky Krisky in the chat. What's up, Risky Krisky? Frank Chupenka, work from the home out. Roger that. Frank the Tank Chupenka. He was at the Philly class with refuge training. He tackled me. He was good. He was good at tackling. Strong fella. I was the what was I doing? I was the aggressor when we were doing anti-active shooter drills, and he tackled me. It was good. You need to be aggressive when somebody's trying to shoot you and you're armed with a folding chair. Yep. You need to go WWE on them. Yep. You know, like just take them out. Yeah, full-blown crazy. That's exactly right. What's up, Chicken Farmer Plus? Good morning, bro. Some other things we're going to look at this morning. We're going to look at some Biden polling numbers. We're going to look at Russia talking about how they're ready for direct conflict with NATO. We're also going to talk about how Canada accidentally honored an actual Nazi in their parliament. Aw, oops. You could literally define the statement that was given was, oops. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Our bad, we apologize very deeply. Oh, man, you guys are drunk on maple syrup again. Let's see. Oh, stretch out the arms. Listen, guys, go buy a freaking bucket from Refuge Medical. Wound care bucket, surgical bucket, postpartum bucket, birthing bucket. Every bucket gets you entered into a chance to win a custom bug out bag from Refuge Medical, a jelly bean launcher, a mantis training kit, a redemption tactical carrier and level 4 plates, a whole bunch of shit. And you have a very high likelihood of winning. There's it's not one of those giveaways where you got a 1 in 10,000 chance. So you got a better than 1 in 400 chance right now. I'll put it to you that way. Actually, I think it's closer to 1 in 300 chance right now. So yeah, go buy a bucket. All right. From RT.com. This is literally the headline. The The Biden team initiates a don't trip strategy, according to Axios. The U.S. president's reelection staff are scrambling to cover up for his physical frailties. U.S. President Joe Biden's staff are urgently working to keep him from falling over during his 2024 reelection bid, Axios reported on Tuesday. Guys, I couldn't make this up. Like, this is legitimate. This is the state of the leadership in the United States of America. Since tripping on a sandbag and falling in full view of the audience during an Air Force Academy ceremony in June, an incident widely shared and mocked on social media, Biden, who is 80 years old, has been wearing tennis shoes more often and using the, quote, short stairs to ascend the steps of Air Force One in order to avoid another public stumble, the outlet claimed. 80 years old. Yeah, we have had presidents in wheelchairs before, but their brain worked. There's a difference, right? Nothing's working on this one. It's time for Ice Cream Grandpa to go home and sniff his grandchildren in peace. He needs to stay away from the rest of us. He needs to give it up, go away. White House spokesperson Andrew Bates insisted that the Don't Trip program had been, quote, proactively and transparently disclosed, end quote, in health summaries released by Biden's doctor during the first 2 years of his presidency, and accused Axios of neglecting Biden's, quote, very real achievement for hardworking Americans in favor of sensationalized story about the aging head of state. Psst. I can't concentrate. Thanks. Biden's staff have reportedly weighed the possibility of his being mocked for using the short steps on the tarmac against the much more pressing threat of voters and potentially even the Democratic Party abandoning him because of his age, and decided a few concessions are preferable to further public embarrassment. The U.S. president has been working with a physical therapist to improve his balance. His doctor had recommended balancing exercises described as, quote, general flexibility and proprioceptive maintenance maneuvers, end quote, and observed the president was suffering from arthritis and decreased sensation in his feet as well as spondylitis of the spine, causing difficulties of movement, because he's 8 decades old. Because he's 8 decades old. Grandma, who lives with us on property, is in her mid-80s, and I love her, and she's spry and awesome, and she has the best garden in the county, and she makes awesome biscuits and sweet tea. She cannot run the United States of America. These are two different things, two very, very different things. So, yeah, it's because you're 8 decades old. A poll conducted last month by the Associated Press and NORC, or NORC, suggested that 3/4 of Americans believe Biden is too old to be president. Only about half of those polled saw former president and Republican frontrunner Donald Trump, who at 77 is only 3 years younger than his rival, too old for the job. Because say what you want about Trump, but his brain still works to the extent that it has ever worked. It's still clicking right along. Biden doesn't know literally what time zone he is in. If I didn't hate the man for his policies and his pedophilia as much as I do, I would feel sorry for him, because he needs to go home and sit on the porch in a rocking chair, because he's 8 decades old. Patrick McGuire, age is not the factor. Cognitive ability is the issue. Yeah, except here's the thing. They generally track together. And honestly, I do think age is an issue. I do think age is an issue because you introduce, even with Trump at 77 years old, when you're 8 decades old, shit starts to fall apart on your body. And if you are the most powerful man in the world, you should probably not be in a position where shit starts to fall apart on your body. It also says something about the prowess of the United States of America. You want to restore national pride? Let's stop electing people that are 8 decades old, that trip down the stairs when they fly around the world to go meet with other air quote leaders of other air quote countries that literally don't know what time zone they are in. They trail off into stories about, popcorn. He was a bad mamma jamma.
Light hair.
Light hair. He had light hair. What are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. I certainly don't know what you're talking about. I'm some asshole on the internet. I get to be disjointed. I'm not the president of the United States of America.
The controversy in China over their leader being old is that he colors his grays black. That's their controversy.
That's their controversy.
We reanimate the dead.
Yeah. Well, Biden's a robot anyway. Back to the article. The Axios polling. Seemingly aware of the closeness of their ages, Trump has said that while Biden is, quote, grossly incompetent, he is not too old to be president, instead focusing on the incumbent's lack of mental acuity and the negative outcomes of his term in office. While Biden himself has said that his own age, quote, does not register, end quote, it's because nothing registers with him. He has insisted voters should judge him by his energy level. A CBS poll released earlier this month suggested that only 34% of registered U.S. voters believe he would actually complete a second term if reelected. Just over a quarter, 26%, believe Biden has the mental and physical health to continue serving. Why even attempt a reelection bid for Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.? Seems retarded to me. I don't even know. I think retarded is a trigger word these days. It is?
Yeah,
So I shouldn't say retarded on the internet?
No.
That's retarded.
I also thought when you said they're measuring his energy level,
Uh-huh.
then watts or joules.
Yeah, what they should have said is we are monitoring his battery levels. Oh man. Let's see, from Newsweek, this is there's so much fluff in this, but I'll read the highlights. Russia may be prepared to engage in a direct conflict with NATO member states, former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev suggested on Tuesday. Blah, blah, blah. We sent missiles and tanks to Ukraine. They're not happy about that. Blah, blah, blah. Abrams tanks are arriving in Ukraine today, according to Zelensky, the actor that we installed over there in Ukraine as an air quote president. Medvedev said, quote, it seems that Russia is being with less and less choice, but direct conflict with NATO. Almost like it was planned that way. NATO has, quote, turned into an openly fascist bloc, end quote, said Medvedev, accusing the military alliance of being like Nazi Germany and the Axis powers, a coalition headed by Germany, Italy, and Japan in World War II, albeit larger. Quote, we are ready, although the result will be achieved at a much greater cost to humanity than in 1945, Medvedev warned. Blah, 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 still sending weapons to Ukraine. Blah, blah, blah. It's not the first time Medvedev has insinuated that Russia could attack NATO members for providing Ukraine with assistance. He said in December 2022 that such countries could be legitimate military targets. I would think that he's correct in that. Blah, 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 blah. Russia hates NATO, blah, blah, blah. According to the, quote, named rules of war, Medvedev said, the armed forces of other countries that have officially entered the war, which are allies of the enemy country, and the objects located on their territory are considered legitimate military targets. So this is not the first time Medvedev et al. Have said things like this, but it is interesting that they're talking about it again, especially in light of the fact that the Ukrainian offensive has essentially failed at very high cost of life and a very high U.S. taxpayer cost as well. And then we accidentally had a Nazi in Canada's parliament. Oops. From Newsweek. Sorry, I puked in my mouth a little when I said Newsweek. Golden Homestead said, all ready for Sukkot? No. Nope. Got a half put together list of things that I should probably bring with me. Guess what I'll be doing this afternoon? Finishing that list and piling shit into vehicles. I am mentally, emotionally, spiritually ready for Sukkot. I'll be completely honest. I'm just been phoning it in all week. I'm like, I'm physically here. Mentally, I'm in my tent already. Okay, so truth in advertising. Palmetto paratrooper said Sakota is the bee's knees. I agree. Anyone here from West Texas? No, John Lopez. I am not from West Texas. Chill. I do know for a fact, though, that we have Bear Nation in West Texas because certain members of the Bear Nation were incredibly helpful when Grindstone deployed to Perryton, Texas after that tornado. Remember Biden called Rolling Fork, Mississippi a hurricane? That just goes back to the level 5 hurricane that hit Rolling Fork, Mississippi.
It's a pinpoint hurricane.
It's a little tiny pinpoint hurricane.
Pinpoint hurricane, yeah.
Well, it is Mississippi, and we weren't that far from the Mississippi River, which does connect to the Gulf, which does have hurricanes in it occasionally. So it is, I guess, maybe he's just that much smarter than the rest of us. Maybe we're the idiots, and that's why we can't keep up with him.
No.
No? Okay, cool. Tracking. From Newsweek, how a Nazi veteran ended up in Canada's parliament is the headline. Calls are growing for Anthony Rota, the Speaker of Canada's House of Commons, to resign after a Ukrainian man who was accused of fighting for a Nazi unit in World War II was invited to Parliament and met with a standing ovation. If this doesn't just prove bread and circuses, some dude that nobody in Canada other than the Speaker of the House of Commons knew who he was, showed up, and all they knew was he was from Ukraine, and they all stood up and started clapping. These people are idiots too. And this, boys and gerbils, is why we should not just de facto hand over autonomy and authority to any government body, because they are filled with people and people are idiots. And so call me a tad narcissistic, but if there's going to be any idiot in charge of my life, it's me. It's this idiot right here rather than those idiots over there. Good morning, Mike Costello Outdoors. Thank you. Great video on sanitation this morning. Yeah, hey, by the way, Bear Nation, I got a bone to pick with you. I made all these damn National Preparedness Month videos, pre-recorded them amidst this ridiculous schedule that I have between Bear Independent, Refuge Medical, Refuge Training, Grindstone Ministries, Caleb House, Pregnant Wife, Children, Homestead, Travel. I made all these National Preparedness videos just for you. And y'all ain't watched shit. I would have been, you know what? I could probably film a video sitting on the toilet and get more views than some of these National Preparedness Month videos have. So if you haven't watched those, go back and watch them. Let me threaten you, because fear is an excellent motivator, or otherwise I won't do it next year. I just won't care. Next year in August, when Katie Lynn is like, yeah, I'm taking my toys out of the sandbox and I'm going home. When Katie Lynn is like, hey, it's August, in September, it's National Preparedness Month. You really should start recording videos for National Preparedness Month. I'm going to be like, F that. They didn't watch them last year. So there you go. That's what I got for you. I might be a little offended. I've given you a portion of my life and you rejected it. That's right, Uncle Charlie. You're bad. You will watch them. I'm saying, guys, girls, esteemed members of the Bear Nation, I gave this to you for free. Use it. Okay? Okay, Bear. All right, good talk. Back to Canada and Nazis. During a visit on September 22nd by Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, Yaroslav Hunka, 98, was praised by Rota, the House of Commons Speaker, as a hero. Quote, "We thank him for all his service," end quote, the speaker said. The Friends of Simon Wiesenthal Center for Holocaust Studies said that Hunka served during World War II as a member of the 14th Waffen Grenadier Division of the SS, Die Waffen-Schutzstaffel, also known as the 1st Ukrainian Division. It was a volunteer unit made up mostly of ethnic Ukrainians and commanded by Nazis, including Heinrich Himmler, who formed the group. Oops. Some Ukrainians fought for Nazi units during World War II. True. It isn't clear who invited the Nazi veteran to Canada's parliament, but Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau appeared to point towards Rhoda. Trudeau's office didn't respond to a request for comment from Newsweek on Monday when asked who gave the invitation to Juncker. And the rest of this article is finger pointing and the Speaker of the House of Commons apologizing. My point here is these dumbasses all stood up and gave a rounding, standing applause for this guy simply because he was from Ukraine. Oh, turns out he's a Nazi. But you're going to let them tell you how you got to live your life. You can't even have freaking guns in Canada anymore. Like, they know what's best for us. Really? They don't even know who this old man is who walked in that everybody just stood up and started clapping for no reason. That shit's retarded. Oh, I did it again. The 12C is going to put the word retarded on the Bear Independent bingo card now. Ad drop during the live stream. Oh my gosh, everybody. Listen, I've been talking about this for 3 weeks. YouTube changed yet again the way they do monetization. They will put ads in the middle of live streams now. There is nothing I can do about it. So I have it set as low as possible, as conservative as possible. Sorry, guys. There's nothing I can do about it other than not be on this platform, which based upon the National Preparedness Month performance, yeah, why not? Bear, go to Rumble. Shut the F up and go look at Bear Independent on Rumble. It's there. Well, how come you don't use it? Because when a video gets 20,000 views on YouTube or 40,000 views on YouTube, it gets 17 on Rumble. And I think it's just the 17 people that are here on YouTube that also watch it over on Rumble or watch it instead on Rumble. It's definitely not a separate audience. I'll put it that way. Anyway, that's the brief for today. If you're one of those people that just does not feel like participating in the value exchange at all, you just extract all this value for free, that's fine. Bless you. Mazel tov. Beat feet, skedaddle. Get out of here. Have a blessed day. Shalom. For everybody else, we're going to talk about the value exchange. Links in the description towards everything I'm about to talk about. Other than this, this was sent in by one of y'all. Let's see. Dustin. This was sent in by Dustin. And this is the Warrior Kid Medic triangle bandage right here. It's a triangle bandage. It's bright orange, but it's got these it's printed. It's really cool. It says right here, remember, your most powerful tool is your brain. You are a calm presence with common sense. And then it's printed on the other side. It's got all this cool stuff on here. Wound packing, how to make a tourniquet, a loop hitch tourniquet, how to make a pressure bandage, how to make a ring pad. It's got pain scale on here, how to splint. It's a super cool little thing. And this is from Warrior Kid Medic. We will very likely get these in the store at refugemedical.com. But in the meanwhile, you can check out warriorkidmedic.com. I like that. That's really cool. And there's a whole bunch of online training videos geared towards children at Warrior Kid Medic. So good job, Dustin. I like where your head's at with this. These are cool. Patreon.com, link in the description. You guys know the drill. It's a prepper consultancy. It's $10 a month. You ask the questions, I give you the answers. It's incredibly high value. Very, very rarely do people participate on Patreon and go, nope, not for me, and then leave. Very, very rarely. I would encourage you to check it out. I'm going to start probably Q1 2024, limiting the availability of slots on Patreon because it is growing. It is growing. And I need to be able to keep up with it. So, implied scarcity. do what you can when you can. Patreon, Refuge Medical. We talked about buckets for bobs. What's a bob? It's a bug out bag. Every bucket you buy, whether it's a wound care bucket or a birthing bucket or a postpartum bucket or a surgical bucket. What's a surgical bucket? It's a surgical suite in a bucket because you never know. SHTF, bro. Every one you buy is another chance to win a custom bug out bag from Refuge Medical. Awesome stuff inside of it. A jelly bean launcher and a Mantis training system, laser training system, dry fire system, and a Redemption tactical carrier and level 4 plates, and a slew of other stuff. There's a Mira gas mask in there. There's a bunch of stuff, just a bunch of stuff. So it's like at least $3,000 worth of gear. Could be pushing closer to $4,000 worth of gear. It's the biggest giveaway we've ever done. What do you have in stock? Good morning, Mark Chase. What do we have in stock? We have buckets in stock. We've got a handful of the leather kits in stock. Yep, that's right, the leather kits. Boom. Look at that. And branded with Refuge Tree of Life logo. Look at that. Super cool. Got a handful of leather kits left. We have like single digits left of the Origin hunt kits and the Origin Raptor camo pattern. These are awesome kits for the hunter or the outdoors person in your life. So super cool. This is a Bearfact that also has a Sawyer mini water filter and fire starting capability in it. So got a handful of those left. Bearfacts are in stock. Arcs are in stock. Adventure kits are in stock. SOB kits are in stock. What about the SOB? We haven't talked about the SOB lately. Look at that. This weighs as much as one loaded AR-15 magazine. It's about that big. Goes on the small of your back. Got a Committee on TCCC recommended windlass tourniquet. In this case, the soft T. Shot quartered to the bottom. You mount this on your war belt, your plate carrier, your chest rig, whatever you're into, your headrest, your side-by-side, your skid steer. Pop that open, grab the red handle, pull, and boom. Here's my first aid kit, which is, of course, made in the United States of America, guaranteed forever. And inside of here, I got everything I need and nothing I don't. I've got gauze, wound packing gauze, combat gauze, gloves, because if it's wet, not yours, don't touch it, emergency trauma dressing, chest seals, nasal pharyngeal airway, flat duct tape, and a Sharpie, all right here. And it weighs as much as one loaded AR-15 magazine. And for all the Gucci guys out there, they come in all the cool guy colors. They come in red. They come in black. They come in multicam. They come in Ranger green. They come in Coyote tan. I think they come in black. I don't know if I said black or not. Really cool little kit. Very thin, very compact. That's the SOB kit. We got boo-boo kits in stock. How about the bare minimum? We haven't talked about the bare minimum in a while either. How big is this? It's about that big. There's my hand. There's the bare min. So I've got a cat tourniquet, and this is a great kit. If you don't have a kit yet, or if you need to get a kit for somebody that maybe isn't as into tactical medicine as you are, this is a really great kit because it covers the bases from boo-boos to bullet holes. Okay, and it's $219. And if you're on Patreon, you can use your promo code. It's less than that. I've got a legitimate Generation 7 cat tourniquet, a real one on the outside, a set of shears on the outside. Same concept. Pop the lid, grab the red handle, pull. Now I've got my inner. Pop the inner open, and I've got emergency trauma dressing right here, like a 6-inch Israeli bandage, medical tape, gloves, Sharpie, rolled gauze, aka Kerlix, compressed gauze for wound packing. I've got quick clot gauze back here behind the compressed gauze. I've got a burn tech dressing and a pair of chest seals in this back pocket back here. And then down here, this is my boo-boo module. And I think my definition of boo-boo is a little different than most people. Got 2x2s, 4x4s, and 5x9 gauze pads in a gauze pack right here. Couple that with your tape for minor lacerations, minor bleeds, etc. Then I've got my OTC wipes here. I've got BZK, Sting Relief, triple antibiotic, povidone iodine, etc. And then I've got Band-Aids because Susie fell off of her dang bike again. We got to get her to the ENT because she's probably got an inner ear infection because her balance sucks because she keeps falling off of her bike. Band-Aids for Susie. And steri strips, small and large steri strips for wound closure as well. All made in America, guaranteed forever. I mean, they're terrible kits. We've only saved 91 lives to date that I'm aware of. So, you know, I guess we won't know if we actually have something here until we hit 100. And then we'll squarely cross the chasm from early adopters to early mainstream when we save 100 lives, because 91 is just unacceptable. That's amateur shit. RefugeMedical.com. Promo code Bear Nation for free shipping and all this stuff. Everything's HSA and FSA eligible. So if you got one of those, do it. And Travis Martin said, buy the S March E field guide, worth every penny. Thank you, Travis Martin. That's the next thing I was going to talk about. There's a link in the description to that too from Refuge Training. A bunch of y'all have been like, we need online training. We can't come to class. It's too far away. I don't have the money. There's a lion outside of my door. Whatever your reason is, I can't come to class. And so we've been racking our brains on how to provide adequate online training. And in the coming days and months, we will be launching what is called Refuge Academy, just for that reason. And the opening salvo of Refuge Academy is the digital download ebook for the S March E protocol. Scene safety, massive bleeding, airway, respiratory, circulation, head injury, hypothermia, everything else. 45-page handbook that you can teach out of, you can learn out of. You can download it and print it out and put it in a binder and hold your own Stop the Bleed classes with your mutual assistance group or your church or your Boy Scout club or your tactical knitting committee, whatever you're a part of, your bowling league, I don't care. The link is in the description. Introductory price of $39, and it is chocked full of information. So check that out as well. There's also in-person classes in Spiro, Oklahoma, refugetraining.com. Refugetraining.com is also where you get that that download from, the S March E download, refugetraining.com. And don't be an ass. Come to class, Spiro, Oklahoma. Sunday the 28th. We have a Responder 1 and Responder 2. I recommend you just take the day and do Responder 1 and Responder 2 in the same day. Responder 1 is the March algorithm, massive bleeding, airway, respiratory, circulation, head injury, hypothermia, everything else in a classroom setting with dozens, if not 100 reps of tourniquets and pressure bandages and all that other fun stuff. Responder 2 is intro to scenario-based training, where you'll be doing individual and team scenarios. And we'll be holding all of that at the Refuge Medical store in Spiro, Oklahoma. The Refuge Medical team will be there. Sunday night, there is a hangout at the Refuge Medical store with the Refuge Medical team. So if you're coming to class Sunday, I would suggest planning to stay late so we can, grill burgers and dogs in the parking lot, hang out, drink a Dr. Pepper or a bottle of water, whatever you're into, fellowship. If you're coming to class Monday, the 29th, I would recommend you get in early so you can be there Sunday evening for the hangout session, the parking lot. We're going to have ourselves a little Refuge block party. So classes are available for that, refugetraining.com, Spiro, Oklahoma classes. Drink some mead. What's up, Medic Mouse? Well, that sounds like a party. What else we got? GrindstoneMinistries.com for all your swag, Caleb House t-shirts, long sleeves, and hoodies. Our brother Saw's Facts Not Feelings t-shirt. Our brother Rex's The Real Dope t-shirt. Proceeds of which go to benefit Caleb House, which is our anti-human trafficking restoration facility. And then, of course, calebhouse.org. If you'd like to get involved with a ministry that actually goes out and rescues kids and then does the hard work of putting them back together again, breaking generational curses, forsaking not the widow and orphan, check out Caleb with a K, calebhouse.com. Or I'm sorry, .org, calebhouse.org. That's where you'll find out more about us there. Dana Geyers said, hey, who's excited for the ruckus? You mean refugeruckus.com? You want to come help raise money and awareness for Caleb House and march through downtown Fort Smith, Arkansas with a rucksack on? The only event that I'm aware of to date that is designed to openly wave a middle finger at pedophiles while raising money to put children back together again. Pretty cool. refugeruckus.com. And then, of course, coffee. Coffee is the elixir of life. mooseruncoffee.com. Go over there, get the Grindstone blend. It's an awesome blend. I know the guy who put it together. It's pretty good. And a portion of the proceeds of which support Caleb House and Grindstone Ministries. So, do you have a video for the K9 kit? What's up, Frank Chupinka? Saw on his Patreon page, Survival Applications and Weapon Systems, did multiple videos on the Mastiff kit. The Mastiff kit is the largest one, like this, that comes in the adventure kit bag. And it's got, for your dog, the ability to run IVs. It's got splinting. It's got blowout stuff. It's got all kinds of stuff. And Saw was very thorough in his testing. Get a lot of like, hey, what if I leave my kid outside? Well, Saw froze his in a block of ice for multiple days and then let it thaw out. And it was fine. Yeah. So, Jesse, damn, Bear got something in his eye when he said your dog. That's crazy, right? Oh, it's in there again. It's a great kit for your dog. Oh, sorry. I don't know. It seemed to be uncontrollably winking at the camera right now. It's the dust in the air. What about for my attack squirrel? I'd say Claymore. Claymore with an instant fuse set up on a tripwire. That's probably how I'd handle that. 4 pounds of C4, 700 BBs. That'll take out a squirrel. All right. I'm out, y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. I should see you Friday morning. If I don't, just know that I love you. Any update on the ankle kit? Vet prep. No, I don't know what you're talking about. What could you possibly be talking about? This is definitely not a T&E sample of an ankle kit. I don't know what you could possibly be talking about, vet prep. We would never make an ankle kit. And if we did, it certainly wouldn't look like this. And it definitely wouldn't have a pocket back here with chest seals and stuff in it. And then it definitely wouldn't have all these pockets over here designed to hold a windlass tourniquet and tape and compressed gauze and quick clot and gloves. We would never do something like that. That's stupid, vet prep. Why? You know what? We're not even playing anymore. Y'all have a blessed day. Shalom.